Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Infinite Crisis Winter Open. This is week 4. I'm Axev, joined by Zagnet. How you doing today, Zagnet?
Good as always. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. I'm actually just back to the East Coast now and came in the middle of a snowstorm, so it's a little bit colder here than it is in California, but you know what that means? That means it's the best time to play video games like Infinite Crisis. It's out there snowing, light
It's
yourself a
always
fire, brew
always
some
the best time.
cider. It is always the best time, but you can feel like it's definitely the best time when you be freezing if you're outside.
You have an excuse not to go outside and be social.
That's right. Well, you're being social playing this game. Of course, Infinite Crisis is a 5-on-5 game. We'll talk a little bit more about Infinite Crisis in just a second. But first, let's talk about what we're doing here today, and that's, of course, Infinite Crisis MLG hosted Winter Open number 4, or week 4, excuse me. And basically, this is the fourth and last week of the main qualifiers to get into the $5,000 championship near the end of January. At the end of this show, we're going to know 3 of the 4 players competing for the $5,000 prize. The last 14 that will join the top 3 is going to be decided this Sunday in the last chance qualifier. But before we actually get into today's matchup, why don't you tell us a little bit about the basics of Infinite Crisis for people who are new to it, kind of what happens in this awesome game.
Well, the gist of Infinite Crisis is that it's a MOBA, which is obviously in a PvP environment. It's players playing against players, but the best part about it is that it's DC Universe. So you have heroes like Batman and villains like the Joker and anybody from the DC Universe that you may care to know. Fighting and throwing rocks around, and it's a destructible environment. So you have all of the elements of a MOBA and the laning phase and everything that you're used to, but you also have the ability to change the environment and use these massive in-game objectives towards these things that you've never experienced. I mean, I don't know. I don't pick up like cars and rocks on a daily basis, but maybe I can't say that for everybody else.
Hey, Batman picks up cars. I've seen it in Infinite Crisis. It happens. He grabs one of those big Humvees, chucks it at someone, and they do leave a mark. Of course, that's one of the things you can do among many in Infinite Crisis. Almost anything's possible. Superheroes, alternate realities, and all types of stolen powers.
Yes.
So today, we're just going to check out the finals of Week 4 of the Infinite Crisis Winter Open. And the final match is between Vex Gaming and KGB roster. And KGB, excuse me, which is Kevlar Gaming. KGB so far has won the first 3 weeks. That means that every single week, not only have they won $500, but they've also pretty much cinched their spot into January's $5,000 tournament. Vex Gaming still kind of in that bubble zone, though, so they really want to try to do well to make sure they make it into that top 3, top 4 to make it into that end of January tournament. But not only is it about the points to get into that tournament later on the road, there's $500 on the line, and of course, KGB is undefeated. They definitely want to stay that way. It's really a matter of pride. Looking at these rosters, have you seen any roster change-ups? At least for KGB, I can see that. Platypus, I think he played in the first 2 weeks for them, and then week 3, I believe he stepped out.
Yeah.
It looks like he's back in week 4, but most of the team is still kind of staying about the same.
Yeah, Platypus definitely plays many different roles. I'm interested in seeing him, what he's going to be picking this time, but I'm glad to see him back. I know he was giving me crap last time when I was noting that he wasn't there, and it was like claiming that he was a free agent because he wasn't there. Maybe he was sick, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't feel like playing. Or maybe it was just this utmost confidence that his team was just going to succeed. But the Clever team we've got Blue Freeze, Telekinetic, Spaghetti, Platypus, and Nine. Nine always going for that cyborg. Maybe he'll change it up. Maybe now that Mecha Wonder Woman's here, like maybe we'll see something else, right?
It's possible. I think one of the weeks he went Gaslight Batman, but he also didn't seem to dominate as hard with Gaslight Bat as it was in traditional Cyborg. Of course, both of them being primarily attack damage characters. About the Vex roster, I mean, it's pretty much a similar lineup to what we've seen them play in the past. Khan, Undead, and Rice, kind of their staples. I don't recall if Foreshadow was on their team before. Is he a new entry, or have I just kind of lost a little bit of my mind here?
He might be a sub for somebody. Since he doesn't even have the Vex tag in front of his name. That would be my best guess. I know Foreshadow. I've definitely played with him before, and I've definitely seen him in some of like the higher level matches that I've been around. But I'm not sure that he's officially part of the Vex team or not. So he could be a sub, or he could be their ace in the hole.
Yeah, their secret player. They're busting out the last moment. He's just gonna play Flash and run everyone over. I'm still waiting for someone to play Flash in these games. I don't understand why they haven't been using them, but that's just my little pet peeve. I'm a big Flash lover. So now we've introduced the teams. You know what? Why don't we just get straight into the game? All right, so here we are in this load screen. We can see here it is KGB versus Vex. We can see some of the champion picks here as it's loading up. And you know, one thing that instantly strikes out at me, we see a Nightmare Batman from Team Vex, and that's a champion I haven't seen from these pro teams in the entirety of this tournament so far.
Really? And what about Poison Ivy too? It's interesting
yeah,
that you
you're
say that
right.
because I was looking at the Poison Ivies, and both of those beautiful costumes sported by KGB. Well, obviously Platypus and Foreshadowed. It's interesting to see that pick, and it's really because I would assume the December update brought a lot of changes, and Poison Ivy has been redefined in her role as a support, and she was given the capacity to heal a little bit more than deal damage, and all of the ratios were changed, and she now scales off of will and power damage depending on how you build her. Nightmare Batman, I'm not sure what the mentality was behind the pick, besides obviously his ultimate has always been incredibly powerful. Being able to lock somebody down for those seconds and make them unable to escape is obviously a pretty devastating thing.
At least for me, what I found out with Nightmare Batman is, at best, you kind of trade one for one, because like you said, his ultimate can really, you just jump on someone and you can pretty much eliminate them. But after that, he's not really of that much use. And if it gets to the late game and you're going up against someone who's actually out-leveled you or has some good items, you may not even get that guaranteed kill with the ultimate. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's a reactionary counter to the way that KGB often plays, whereas KGB often relies on really getting 9 so powerful as Cyborg, and they're like, well, you know what? Even if Nightmare Batman can't do much else besides take on Cyborg, if we get rid of Cyborg, that's the key to the KGB team.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because 9 being the bulk of the damage. Of course, they still have Spaghetti on Shazam, who can instantly blow people up, but looks like we have this early invade already going on. Vex taking the lead here, kind of just pushing their way in through the urban jungle on the KGB side. Is that really something you think you want to be doing?
Well, they apparently do, being very aggressive out there. Looks like blows are being traded. Batman takes a lot of damage there. And overall, it looks like it's fairly even trading, although, actually, never mind. Vex has 3 of their team members, in fact 4 at very low life. They're all having to back away. And what this means is, yes, no one got any kills, nobody died, but because Vex is having to back away, you can see KGB's getting a little bit of a head start. They're going to take out that Berserker camp in the jungle a little bit faster. They're going to have their champions at the bottom lane, farming those drones a little bit faster. And of course, 9 is happy at the top. He's still at max life, which means he can farm that top lane for quite a long time without being scared of anything.
Yeah, you especially do not want to be at a disadvantage in a mirror match. Having any less health means that anytime you decide to make a trade, as long as everybody lands their skills, you're obviously going to come out on the bottom of it. But though the onset of the amplifiers might have changed that around a little bit, depending on really what have people picked.
Yes, of course, the amplifier is actually a really cool thing now. You can customize that fully. I believe our last week, players weren't quite able to get that full customization, or the match from the last Winter Open Week 3, I guess you'd call it. But here at the bottom, we do have actually Gaslight Batman taking major damage, and it's interesting, KGB putting both support type characters, Zatanna and Poison Ivy, together in a lane, but they're actually rocking that lane right now.
Yeah, they're characters that have excellent synergy, and when you think about it, they nearly have sustain for days, because they have the heal from Zatanna and also the passive heal from Poison Ivy. They have double shields going on, and they both deal an incredible amount of damage. You can see Rice almost going down to the skewer combo from Zatanna, which is definitely not something you want to underestimate, because she builds even the slightest bit of power damage, and that skewer is just devastating.
You know, this is a really great demonstration of something a lot of people kind of think when they say, oh, it's a support character, I just have to walk around and support my teammates. Not necessarily, and especially not true with Zatanna. She just dishes out so much damage. She's pretty much a support / blaster. So even if you like to be the person getting kills, pushing people off the lanes, a lot of the support characters in Infinite Crisis are very versatile. They can push people off lanes, but they also have some healing abilities as well.
Yeah, and not to mention, down here in the bottom lane, they have a great amount of wave clear. Now, Gaslight Batman obviously has a lot of power from his basic attacks, but countering the Q from Poison Ivy, which is that AoE root strike that she does, as well as the clear from Telekinetics skewer. It's actually really hard to contest. They either have to decide on taking the damage from Zatanna and Poison Ivy or trying to push the drones back, and it's kind of hard to juggle those two things, and it looks like anytime they really try to get in there to hit those drones, they're getting punished by Zatanna.
You know, one thing that's really interesting when you think about a marksman, oh, it looks like actually, never mind, here Nightmare Batman's coming in, he's going invisible, but KGB realized that Telekinetic and Platypus backing off and taking no damage to that 3-on-2 situation right there. And Nightmare Batman has to go back in the jungle and grab a couple more drone kills.
Yeah.
But one thing that...
Batman. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Nightmare Batman. Yeah. he is a vampire, so I sometimes just skip that and comb straight.
No, that's not what I was going to say. I was just going to comment on the fact that Nightmare Batman at level 4 has a really hard time ganking because until he gets his ult at level 6, he doesn't have anything except for the slow from his Q, which is obviously a skill shot, so he has to land it. So it's tough early goings on for ganking.
So right now, I think he's realized that he's just trying to power his way up to level 6 as soon as possible. Of course, Nightmare Batman's ultimate, once he gets level 6, is an ability where if he gets in range, he can jump on an opponent, do massive damage, and stun them for several seconds. So if you have any allies in the area, they can do the supplemental damage to finish off and secure the kill. You know what I found really interesting when I watch a marksman in a blaster fight? It often seems that the blaster, or the marksman, excuse me, if it's Cyborg or Gaslight Batman, basically kind of waits for the blaster to use their skill, right? You can see Poison Ivy throw roots out, and then if the roots don't hit, either Cyborg or Gaslight Batman using the basic attack can close in and just start wailing down a lot of damage. But at the bottom, with the combination of kind of the two support slash blasters with Poison Ivy and Zatanna, even if you can get around one of their skills, the other one's going to have another skill fresh up and ready to really force you back again, and you can never really... It seems like Gaslight Batman, played by Rice, is having a really hard time utilizing his basic attack against Zatanna and Poison Ivy.
And not to mention, besides what I already said earlier about the shield, when you consider that Poison Ivy's W is Blow Kiss, and that mitigates 80% of the... It's a blind, so it takes away 80% of the damage dealt by your basic attacks. And since basic attacks are really what a marksman relies on, at least attack damage marksman, I think Gaslight Batman would have a really tough time trading, because if Poison Ivy safes her W, knowing anytime that Gaslight Batman is going to get in there and try and deal damage, what is he really supposed to do?
Yeah, there's not too much. There's just too many skills there to counter him. Stuns, damage reduction. And that's, of course, why Nightmare Batman's spending so much time at the bottom trying to support them. Now, right now, he is level 6, so he could be using that ultimate to jump on someone. And looks like he did. He's using it on Zatanna, but is she going to get away? Oh, she does. Wow, that's a shame. When you use that ultimate as Nightmare Batman, you really want to secure a kill, and he was unable to do that.
Yeah, it was a well-timed gank, and it was definitely interesting to see how close they got to that. I think maybe if they had just been a little bit more aggressive and a little less hesitant. But I mean, KGB, with their just sheer power, is obviously going to be somewhat intimidating. They don't really want to give up any kills, so peeling back and not, diving under the turret without knowing where their Shazam was, roaming about in the jungle, was probably the best decision. But it would have been interesting to see them actually pick up that kill. Might have been able to snowball and push back that devastating Poison Ivy Zatanna combo.
You know what's interesting? You can see here also, KGB's sense of timing is so good. They've been backing away from the top. You're like, why are they backing away? They're both at full life. It's because they see that the Raider is going to come up momentarily, and so 9's actually coming into support. They really want to make sure they win this battle for the Raider, and with 9 here at the bottom, I think they're in a very good position to take this Raider down and win this skirmish. They're all ahead in levels, and they have a 4-3 situation right here.
Yeah, interesting to see Shazam going in on Undead, but not able to really pick anything up, and they instantly focused on Poison Ivy, and like you said before, Nightmare Batman without his ultimate, not really doing much, so he's kind of just circling around. He had used his ultimate in that gank, so he can't really do anything. I feel like they're probably just going to have to give this up, or give up some kills as well.
Oh, Nightmare Batman pulled a really sneaky move. He was trying to, I think, use his Q to get the last hit on the Raider, and if he timed it perfectly, it may have worked. It was a big risk. It didn't quite pay off. KGB saw him coming and took him down before he could really get that last hit off and steal that Raider kill.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the jungle. He might have been trying to use his Consume or his Detonate.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that those are both relatively short range, and having everybody on KGB over there also with their ability to deal massive damage to any neutral monsters, they probably use their own to just nab it.
Yeah, I mean, it was worth a shot, though. I think even though, yes, he died, if he was able to pull that move off, that could have been the game changer right there, stealing that Raider kill. That's about a, I mean, you can think of it, it's a 2,000 gold swing because you're denying them 1,000 gold as a team and you're getting 1,000 gold as a team yourself, not to mention the experience you're going to be getting from grabbing that last kill. It looks like it's Vex and grab their first kill. No, Zatanna somehow escapes. Nightmare Batman goes down again. He just comes, he just died like a couple seconds ago, but man, KGB is just playing phenomenally right now.
Telekinetic, just playing Zatanna definitely makes you a target. You're like, I swear I don't take a lot of damage. I've got nothing but a shield and a movement speed boost to defend myself, but they didn't have enough damage down there to take her out that quickly, and just such colossal defense for the heal from Poison Ivy, the blind, the knock up. I mean, what are you really supposed to do when you're already a little bit behind?
It's you know, it's an amazingly well-developed team composition here. We talked about not seeing Poison Ivy in the past, and some changes that have, you know, made her, I mean, we can see obviously one of the strongest champions, both teams are using her. But what's also the fact is that KGB so far has been just dominating this game so far. Now, it's not like the game's over. There's still plenty of chances for comebacks. But if you look at the rosters, I think as the game goes on, it's actually going to get even worse for Vex, because Nightmare Batman, he kind of starts to taper off as the game goes on a bit. I feel like once everyone can kind of deal with his ultimate, if he doesn't get insane items, he's not going to be of that much value. And also, with Batman and Shazam, there's really not enough support to keep Gaslight Batman or Cyborg alive, I don't think, against those bruisers from Team KGB.
Yeah, they opted for the assassination of Nightmare Batman, but he's kind of similar to Gaslight Catwoman, whereas if you don't really get rolling kind of early in the jungle, then you can't expect to keep up with people who are establishing a victory already. And you know, I always hate seeing Shazam get some kills, because Shazam's already really powerful. You give him a couple of kills and he just peaks, and like nobody can even hope to contest what he's doing. And right now, Spaghetti is holding 3 of the 4 kills that Clever even has. So that's going to be tough for them to really initiate, and especially poor Undead. The Shazam on Vex. What is he like? I mean, what is he thinking when he's like, I cannot go head to head against that other Shazam because he's just objectively stronger than me right now.
You know what's interesting? If we're talking about Spaghetti, the items he's buying, he's really buying the resellable items, if I'm not mistaken. Is that Hawksman's Harness and Radiant Shard that's in his inventory?
Yep, so I believe that's actually Marauder Shield that he has right now.
Oh, sorry.
Yep,
or no, the second item after the Marauder Shield.
Oh, that's Marauder Ring?
Marauder Ring, okay. So he has a lot of the, I mean, basically he has power damage, and Radiant Shard is doing more power damage, so he's just going pure assassin route.
Yep, as well as his ability to clear the jungle is really devastating. We just missed Batman get a double kill in the bottom lane and take the turret out as well. Now, this is something that we see KGB do really often, and just kind of take the reins and push their enemies back and keep pushing them back, and then capitalize on any mistake or any sort of overextension the team they're playing against executes. And right now, since they've got the Raider and they've got the turret, they're kind of a little bit safe right now. They don't even have to give up a single kill. They've got 10k credit difference right now. Exactly 10k.
This is getting a little bit brutal. We see Spaghetti up to 4 kills now. And Spaghetti often plays Atomic Wonder Woman as well. So that's probably why he's going to pure damage route, and he's playing Shazam so aggressively. It's just he loves being that assassin role. Oh, the Poison Ivy Root Strike misses Telekinetic. They're trying to get her. Everyone's chasing her down, but she turns Nightmare Batman into Rapid. And it's a trap. It's turned around and Poison Ivy dies instantly.
Once again, they just decide this Zatanna needs to die. We've tried so hard to kill this Zatanna. She looked like she was alone, but she's definitely good at escaping, especially if she's got a little bit of a heads up. And I think everybody running at her was a big red flag for, I'm going to die if I don't get my butt out of here instantly. And luckily her team there was there to back her up, so able to just turn that around and convert that to a single kill. And now, really, they're probably just gonna push and hope that Vex decides to initiate.
I was really impressed right there by Telekinetic's ability to use her skills and movement in conjunction very well, because if she got stunned or slowed, she would have died right there. I mean, there's no way Zatanna could take the damage of everyone chasing her if they could have closed the gap. But a little micro move to dodge the Root Strike. She didn't continue on a regular path. She juked it a little bit. And then realizing that Nightmare Batman could slow her down using his Q, she instantly, dodged the Root Strike, turned him into a rabbit, was able to escape that. And now it looks like Khan and Cyborg trying to escape, but Blue Freeze runs him down. Blue Freeze now in the middle of 3. Can he take them all? No, even Batman can't take them all. Can he escape? Shazam, Nightmare Batman chasing him, but Cyborg is still down. And there goes the first kill, and actually the second kill as well for Team Vex.
I mean, poor Khan up there. He was doing so well, just kind of fending off the aggression of 9. But Blue Freeze has positioned himself for that gank. Luckily, they were able to take those 2 kills and avenge his death. But it must have stunk, because he was like, no, why? Why are you going for me? I'm just in my top lane. I don't want to die.
KGB is just a bunch of ruthless predators hunting down their foes. And now, this is actually bold. With only 3 of them, they're trying to take Team Vex's power relay. And right now, it could be a 4-on-3. It looks like Shazam, though, Spaghetti so strong there, basically takes out Poison Ivy and Gaslight Batman in just a heartbeat. And now the odds have been turned.
And they're really good at focusing down. You could see Khan got bunnied by that telekinetic, taken out instantly with his defenses down as well, focusing down Shazam, even though Shazam is supposed to be able to take some damage. But Spaghetti not letting Juke get away. That's no juking happening by Juke. Tries to go through the taco, but wasn't enough. And now, what was that? A near annihilation. I think it might have been.
It was.
Yep, that
it was
annihilation.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I feel like Spaghetti actually almost killed them all on its own.
Yeah, well, that's the power of Shazam.
He's just, I mean, it's also just the fact that he's gone so far ahead. He's got a majority of the kills for the team, I believe. And so he's just hit, and when you're ahead and you stack all damage, it means you can kill people very quickly. Now, the weakness of that is maybe you can die a little quicker. But yeah. Vex was never able to focus him down. You know, there was only either 1 or 2 at a time on him. And so if it's only 1 or 2 versus him when he's this far ahead, he'll just kill them before they can even get that much damage out.
They're able to take the Doomsday device as well as secure that top relay at the exact same time, and I think that the Raider had even respawned and KGB actually took it, and that was something that we didn't even note, and that's obviously going to snowball their credits into even more of a lead than they already have going on. Blue Freeze with the Doomsday device, I'm not sure, they might just decide to siege this turret. They're pretty comfortable on kills, they don't really need to be hyper aggressive, but we have seen KGB have certain manners that that lets them relentlessly kill even though they don't necessarily need to. So
I mean, there is something to be said for ending the game before your opponents can try to come up with a way to make a comeback, right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's not even 16 minutes into the game right now, and they're pushing into the inner turrets, which is...
I'm waiting for the Doomsday device. This looks like a great opportunity. When's he going to use it? There it goes, on the turret. Who can get out of range? Khan just takes it right in the face, but is barely able to stay alive, and amazingly, no one from Vex died until just now. Batman finishing off his Nightmare counterpart, and a tower goes down as well.
And they actually had Rice in the bot lane as well, I believe, or did he back in time for that? Because I thought that he was down pushing that. Oh yeah, he had come back.
He somehow died. I actually missed it. I saw Nightmare Batman die, but Gaslight Batman just, you know, it's probably Shazam looked at him, and he's like, okay, I'll just lay down and die.
Dude, I really want to know what Spaghetti's secret is with Shazam. I mean, obviously Shazam is really powerful in its own right, but the fact that like he just has this uncounterable Shazam, I'm thinking that like he must actually yell Shazam every time he uses ultimate or something. Maybe he even does it when he's playing Atomic Wonder Woman. Maybe that's the secret. You just have to scream Shazam as loud as you possibly can.
Yeah, it gives you that. Kill. Maybe it doubles your power damage or something. We can see here on the scoreboard, 9 kills and 4 assists. He's just ruthless. And, you know, it is a really good point, because you hear people say, oh, you know, I just lost because he's playing Shazam. But, you know, there's a Shazam on the other team. You know, I've played enough with Shazam, and I haven't always got 9-0 with him. So it's clearly Spaghetti, you know, like you said, maybe he just knows how to scream Shazam, give himself that enthusiasm to finish off the kill. He's got, so we can see some of his the items there going down. A lot of good items there for Shazam.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the Fragment of Moga, which, despite the fact that it had been readjusted so that it didn't give so many stats for the price, it is still a really solid item. And when you're ahead, when you're building defense, it's kind of just like salt in the wound, because you're already dealing a lot of damage. Your abilities are more powerful just because simply they have higher ranks than your enemies. but when you build some more health too, it's like, how am I supposed to kill you when you have more health than me and you're a higher level and dealing more damage than me? And really, it's all about positioning. Right here, Vex keeps going in, even though they've been behind. They really need to wait for an opportunity, and they kind of just keep trying to force a fight that's not really working for them. And that, you know, they're losing 3, and Telekinetic just like running around being super troll, like not even gonna be able to kill him. He doesn't even have enough will, but just runs around, you know, being rude.
I mean, the whole team there tried to take down Spaghetti, and they almost got him, but with Poison Ivy's shield, Atana's shield, and of course there's too much damage coming out, he was able to escape. And another tower goes down as well. Meanwhile, 9 from the top is pounding on this turret. And the Fragment of Mogo gives you attack armor as well, doesn't it?
Yep. Attack armor and health.
Yeah, so that's a great item when you're looking at, okay, as long as you kill their Shazam, most of their damage, you've got Gaslight Batman attack damage, Cyborg attack damage, Nightmare Batman attack damage. It's a pretty, you know, the way Vex is built, going for attack armor and then just making sure that you can neutralize their Shazam seems like a really great strategy.
Yeah, and it's obviously working out for them so far. I mean, I wonder if Vex made the mistake of going for Telekinetic too often, because it looks like Telekinetic is a slippery one to catch and almost took out Khan. The delayed invulnerability. I probably would have done the same thing. The fear of like, oh my god, look at my health right now, I'm going down. But they can't even stop this. I mean, this inner turret, the last defense of the power core, and they're just sitting, they're just letting the victory happen there. They're all there, they're all full health, and they're like, you know what? We're not gonna shame ourselves. We're not gonna go in there and die, because that's all that's gonna happen. And Spaghetti, the warden of the base, he's like, yeah, you better stay on that base.
Yeah, he's pacing back and forth, saying, don't leave your zone. If you do, I will one-shot you, which he has ultimate up. He probably can do that.
No, let's be fair. It might be like a 2-shot.
Yeah, like the ultimate, then a punch with is it the W? I think
exactly.
It's the W, yeah.
The chain lightning, yeah.
Yeah, that would be, and it'd probably bounce and kill the whole team as well.
Yeah. Well, look at this final score. I mean, way more than double the total credits. 20 deaths. I guess somebody died and didn't give a kill over there on Vex's side, but 19 freaking kills, and what was that? Yeah, a 19-minute and 32-second victory. That's just, you know. I don't really have any words for that. I mean, I can't honestly say that I didn't expect KGB to pull out another stomp, but I was kind of hoping for Vex's own sake that they could, you know, do some contesting. I mean, I don't know what advice do we have to make the KGB team go away?
You know, I think what we need to have happen is, I think we need some more fresh blood here, because what's happening right now is KGB is just grabbing all the money. I mean, it's been 4 weeks, and they've won every single one of these qualifying matches. That means they've won $500 a week. They've qualified for the $5,000 tournament. And, you know, I think teams are going to be looking at this. Teams are going to be saying, you know what? KGB is grabbing all the money. Maybe we should rethink our game. Maybe we should talk to some pros from other games and get advice on how we can take on this KGB team. Because right now, what everyone's trying isn't really working against them. They look unbeatable, and so that's going to be a big kind of theme coming into the grand final near the end of January. I think January 18th is when the $5,000 grand final is. Is there any way to stop KGB? Will all the other teams kind of conspire and do hardcore practice training and figure something out?
It's like a raid boss.
Yeah, it's pretty much. KGB is the raid boss of the IC Winter Open Tournament. But these qualifiers aren't over. Now, if we look at the standings, of the first 4 qualifiers, we can see the standings here. KGB in number 1 at 40,000 points. Vex in number 2 at 20,000. And then we have KGO and Vengeance both tied at 14,000 points. Now, the top 3 teams go to that $5,000 tournament, which is going to be KGB, Vex. But then 3rd and 4th is tied right now. So we're going to have a tiebreaker game, and that's going to be played this Sunday. And then right after that game this Sunday, what we're going to see is you're going to see the last chance qualifier. So KGB, Vex, and the winner of the tiebreaker game will be 3 of the 4 teams at the $5,000 tournament, January 18th. The 4th team will be a team that wins this last chance qualifier tournament on Sunday. And that could be you. You could say, you know what, KGB, they may be winning these weekly qualifiers, but when it comes to the big show and there's $5,000, me and my team's going to step up. But you got to qualify for it first. That's this Sunday. You can sign up at mlg.tv/ICWinterOpen and give it a shot. Sign up is open to anyone. Go in there. It's free. If you win, you may have a shot at that $5,000 prize.
Yeah, I mean, watching these matches definitely pumps you up too. I'm sure you could learn a lot. We have all of the past episodes available on YouTube on MLG's channel. So if you think that KGB has a specific strategy, you can just go and study them. You know, make it like this little learning experience. Go in and look and be like, what is it that is causing them to win, aside from the fact that Shazam is on the team?
Well, you know, one thing I noticed about KGB is they're also extremely coordinated at going for objectives. I think Infinite Crisis objectives are so important. I don't think I've ever seen them not win the fight for the Raider, and it's usually because their whole team's always there at the right point. They're always going for the power relays. They have a small advantage. And instead of saying, okay, let's just stay in the lanes, they'll say, wait a minute, with our advantage, if we group up, we can take their power relay, and then all of a sudden the lanes will be really easy to push because we'll have the relay advantage. So there's a lot of I love watching the top players of this game because there's more nuances than just who's getting more kills or who's getting more experience. The objectives play a huge part as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it really just takes a lot of synergy and communication. I think KGB just has that really down pat. They're able to just, I don't know, take the faces and just grind them into the ground. And it's kind of depressing to see, but it's also kind of exhilarating too. You know, maybe that makes me a psychopath, but it's pretty awesome.
Who doesn't love seeing the skulls of the enemies being crushed to the ground? Of course, in video games, anyways, when you're competing for money. No mercy needs to be shown.
The video games part needs to be clarified. We're not talking about real life. At least I'm not. I don't know about Axlav here.
No. Just in Infinite Crisis. I do love to get some kills in Infinite Crisis.
That's Flash.
Yes. I still... Wait, that's actually a side point before we wind up the show. Why aren't people playing Flash so much? I was actually... I was on vacation, but before that, I actually played Flash, and I was playing against a couple of the KGB guys, and like they're way better than me. But I felt I was actually able to stand my ground just because I was Flash. But yet we haven't seen him being used yet. Do you think is there something I don't know about Flash, or is it just?
Do you know that they took the knockdown off of his ultimate?
I do. I actually don't really use the ultimate much.
Whoa.
I just use. I mean, I level it, but like as soon as you use the ultimate, they kill you, right?
I mean,
often people will time skills.
That's true. I mean, it definitely makes you a huge target because they're like, oh, he's going to be emerging from the center of that in just a second. And I do that usually when I'm Gaslight Batman. It's always fun to perfectly time your bat scream to go right over Flash's face. But
or even
at
like
the
a
same
root
time,
strike could, you know.
Yeah, I think that Flash is obviously really powerful. It does a lot of burst damage, but KGB is focusing on synergy a lot, so they want a lot of champions that have a lot of conjunction with one another, and I think that Flash, despite being an incredible assassin, now that the stun has been taken off his ultimate, he's more of an assassin than he is just somebody who can deal a lot of damage and set things up for his team, so now they're picking champions that, like Poison Ivy and Zatanna, who have interactions with the other champions, whereas Flash is obviously going to be a really solid, really great pick, but right now they're just working on doing things together and having their power align perfectly.
And I guess if you think about it, that type of role, they had Shazam and Batman, who were playing the jungle, and then they were coming in to kind of get into front, kill someone. But and both Shazam and Batman, they both can do a lot of damage, maybe not quite as much as Flash off the burst, but they're also tankier as well. So a little more versatility with those roles, a little more support for the whole team effort instead of just being greedy and going for your individual kills, which is often what I do, which is maybe why it's great for solo queue, but maybe not as much for a team.
Exactly.
Anyways, no more Flash talk. If you want to see more about Flash, go ahead, play Infinite Crisis and try him out yourself. Or try out Shazam, Zatanna, Wonder Woman, Batman, whoever you want, Robin, Harley Quinn, all types of cool superheroes and supervillains in the game. But that's about it for Week 4 of the IC Winter Open Tournament. Don't forget, this Sunday, last chance qualifier. Sign up at mlg.tv/ICWinterOpen. And also, tune in next Saturday for the results of both the tiebreaker match between 3rd and 4th place from the past 4 weeks, and also the finals of the last chance qualifier. It was great having you on, Megan. Is there anything you want to say before we wind up the show?
As always, thanks for having me, Axlav, but I'm really just looking forward to what happens next time. I mean, literally, this phrase has been sticking in my head. I would really just love to be in part of the fight, because really, you and I know we love to play games. I just want to say we should go out and hunt our enemies and make trophies of their skulls.
We
His mantra.
I think it is their mantra. And if you look at how aggressively they play, they definitely hunt for skulls. You know what? The only thing you need to do to make it more obvious they're skull hunting is dance on their opponent's bodies after they kill them. That would be.
Oh, that's so rough. That's so mean.
That would be the last straw, and then you could say they're definitely trophy hunters. They put a little notch on their belt every body they dance on. I haven't done that yet. That's what I should do.
I don't think they say we will hunt our enemies. It's probably we will Shazam our enemies.
Yeah, at least for spaghetti. He's probably.
Even when he's Atomic Wonder Woman, I swear, every time he invades the jungle, he's whistling a Shazam tune to himself.
But right before he says Shazam, he makes like that whirring motion of a chainsaw revving up. That's what he does with Atomic Wonder Woman. Got to get the chainsaw action in there.
Oh, that's beautiful imagery. I love it.
Both very awesome champions. Anyways, before we go too crazy here, you guys should play these champions on your own. Go ahead, play the game, and we'll see you next week on Infinite Crisis.